to the final element of Hard Rock Classic Heroes 2011's convention. For those of you who participated in a lot of it, we kind of chopped it into three parts. One was the 2 days of speed sessions where people got to speak directly to all the international delegates we had here over the weekend. The other was the panels where Jim Carr from the Irish Times put together, he brings out a theme to us every year, and then we fit the delegates that we've invited around those themes. And the BandTips session, which this is the third and final one. And essentially the BandTips sessions, it's our first year doing them, but they've proved really great. What we've done is concentrated on an area and delivered a panel of do's and don'ts and straight from the horse's mouth kind of way of getting people in jobs that fans want to get attention from to tell you how you should and shouldn't do that. And it got so on us yesterday at the Irish Bookers one that, you know, I had said to one of them, you know, how does a band know that you will never book them? And he said, I just never answer their emails. And you could see about 6 heads in the audience going, you know, I never heard back from him. So it got that on us. The convention this year, as in the previous 5 years, would not have happened without the support of Culture Ireland. They are very invested in the double element of what we do in terms of Hard Rock and Classic Heroes and Music from Ireland, which is at Hard Rock and Classic Heroes, go and find people who will take Irish acts at the right time out of Ireland and start their international story. So that's who you have in front of you. This is such a magic panel in terms of your international story. And in terms then of what we do in relation to these people, Music from Ireland is a project that FMC run in partnership with Culture Ireland and with IMRO to fund an identity for Irish acts showcasing at international music festivals. So these people in front of you are the people that pick you for that, and then when they do, they'll email you, CC us and say, Music from Ireland will take care of the rest. And what they're saying there is Culture Ireland will cover you and support you and help build a story around you. Now, I know she's going to kill me, and I am going to embarrass you, Madeline, even though you asked me not to. Madeline's in the room, and if anybody who has ever availed of what we've done could take the chance to thank her personally, because her and her staff are just amazing at making sure that popular music get a really equal bite of the Culture Ireland and therefore government money. So I think it's worth, Madeline, put your hand up and everybody. How do we get there question, and that is thanks to Culture Ireland. So I'm going to ask both you and the panel to be as honest and free as possible. This is not a time for shyness. These people are not here every Saturday. And I know all of you want to play at their festivals. So I'm going to just start with asking each of you about your festival, where it stands in the global market of showcases. And I am going to put you on the spot and ask you for the top 2 things you look for in a band to showcase at your festival. So, Lizzie. Yeah.
Can't you like your singer to do this? I'm Lizzie Newton. I'm with South by Southwest in Austin, Texas. We are a music and festival and conference. So we have showcases, panels, the trade show. We also have a film and interactive component. We have about 2,000 bands played in 90 venues over 5 nights. Bands from 53 countries around the world.
What's your top 2 things you look for in a band?
Top 2 things we look for, I'd say songs and good production.
Hi, my name is Andy McLean. I'm the co-founder and managing director of the North by Northeast, not to be confused with South by Southwest. Get your compass pointed up to Toronto, Canada. We're in June, so guaranteed there is no snow, no icebergs, anything like that. And Toronto is a fabulous city if you haven't been there. This is, we're kind of like, we were inspired by South by Southwest and started the event 17 years ago, which is hard to believe. South by's in their 26th year, I think. So. This is our 18th year in Canada. We've been growing our event organically and slowly over the years, and now we're the biggest event in Canada of its kind in the summertime, 750 bands. We also have a film festival and a conference as well, and we're very proud of the way we take care of our bands, the way we run the clubs. We have about 1,000 volunteers that work with us, and we provide a backline and things like that. So we're all music fans that run our festival, and we're, like I say, we're proud of the way we've grown it. So what we look for, I look for commitment, authenticity. If I believe what I'm hearing on the tracks from the band, I don't really care what genre it's in, we'll book you. And then also just a passion as well that comes through, and originality. I think that's three things. So I'll stop
You're
there.
Hi, I'm Natasha Haddad, and I'm from the Great Escape Festival, which is in Brighton. We are every May, this year 10 to 12, and again, both like North by Northeast and South by Southwest, we are a conference and music festival. We've got showcases during the day, evening and club night as well, so we have a variety of music. I think the things that I look for when booking is honestly just good music, and I think if it's packaged quite brightly, it's eye-catching, and that does help. That's it.
Hello, my name is Robert. I'm a booker of Eurosonic. Eurosonic is a showcase festival in Holland, in Groningen, a city of 200,000 people up in the north. We are a showcase festival for European music, and we have a conference as well. It takes place in mid-January, so actually it's the first showcase festival on the agenda. We're booking around 250 bands in 4 days. The first 3 nights are focused on European music, and the last night is Dutch music only. Maybe we have a focus on Ireland next year. Oh, yeah, I forgot. Of course. For me, music is the most important thing. That's number one. And the second thing is we're really keen to pick the right bands at the right time. So actually, it has to do with the setup in general. Is a band ready to tour Europe? And it, of course, we look into like, is there a release? Is there a single? Whether it's physical or digital, it doesn't matter. Is there a management involved? Is there all small but very important things at the second behind after music? So.
I'm Matt McDonald. I'm from the CMJ Music Marathon Film Festival. We take place in New York City, 5 nights in October. This year we start in 10 days. Probably shouldn't be here. but I am, so that's great. So this will be the 31st year of the event. We're a showcase festival. We have a film festival. There's a conference portion as well. We have between 12 and 1,300 acts perform. I haven't quite done the final tally for this year. 75 venues. Focuses on upcoming artists. We have about 20% international artists performing. And number one is music, as far as our considerations go. And number two, I would say a sexy promo film. I'm just kidding. We look at, yes, sometimes it really hurts you actually. It seems like that's all you got. We look at press and kind of gig history, are the sort of secondary things that we look at.
So I am very quickly going to throw it out into the audience, and if you let me down, I will follow each one of you home. This is a very unique opportunity, so if you have any questions, and I guarantee you, no matter what your question is, someone else wants it answered as well. So no matter what question comes into your head, do ask it. We have a mic here, so just throw your hand up and we'll get a mic to you. Go back. And if you're in a band, could you tell us your band name?
Hi, Lucy from Little Access Rise. Just a question for Robert. You mentioned that at Eurosonic you're having the Irish, the spotlight on Ireland. What does that involve?
we always have we always have a focus on a particular country every year, and in fact it means it's a spotlight on this country. So we try to show the diversity from this country. So there are many promotional opportunities involved, of course, and apart from that, I think everyone who attends Eurosonic, it's actually it's the first thing on the bill. So people have a watch at these bands first, and I think it's an important promo tool.
And for us, I guess, as well, it's usually there's about 3 or 4 bands feature because it's only 250
Yes.
slots that you have available. Robert was inclining that there may be up to 15
Yes.
Irish acts
Yeah.
selected this year, which is amazing, I think, in terms of out of 250 slots. You can imagine how much attention. I suppose the thing about Eurosonic as well is it's the festival you get booked for the rest of the year at, really. Would you guys agree with that in terms of European festivals?
Yeah, I guess it's a key leader for what's going to work for the rest of the year. We quite often get bands come out playing Eurosonic with 3 or 4 or 5 even festival bookings across.
Okay, there's another one. Here. Keep your hand up, sir.
Hi, Suzanne Doyle. I manage Dublin Bipolar Empire, and you say there might be 13 to 15 slots in Eurosonic. I know 2FM picked 2. How do the others get picked? I know we've Sonic bids, but is it down to?
Yeah, we work with Sonic bids, so there was a deadline September 1st, and regarding the selection, actually, Eurosonic has always a final say in the bookings, but of course we work with partners. Number one partner is the EBU, the European Broadcast Union, which RTE is involved with, and so RTE proposes one band, and then we of course negotiate and we say yes or no, and then we look into the second thing, like is it a good moment to present this band, and actually. Of course, the export offices of each country are very important for us. If we have a question regarding the career of an artist, or we don't think, we have our doubts regarding whether it's a good time to present the band in Eurosonic, we track back this information at the export offices. So at the end, we are listening, me and my team, we're listening, considering the bands, and make a short list, and step by step we try to show the diversity. So we're not married to pop music, we also look into metal bands or whatever, electronic music. So for every country in Europe we try to pick the best bands at a good time. I hope this answers your question.
Yeah, thanks.
Hi, my name is Niall. I'm manager with an indie 3-piece called Soldiers Can't Dance. Just a general question. Obviously, you said music was a key criteria, but how established do the acts have to be in terms of, some people mentioned there, that they be ready not only to play that festival but other festivals that may arise out of that. Would you have taken a chance on a wild card previously, or, for example, the band's track record or career trajectory up to that point, how important is that?
For me, it's rare that we take a chance. I mean, if we really love the music, and it's somebody who lives, in Brooklyn or something, it's a lot easier decision than, an Irish act who has to come so far to play one show. So yeah, music is definitely the most important, but if it's a really good band who's only played 5 shows in their home territory, it's not really going to do anybody any favors by booking them, because sort of the serendipitous chance of somebody stumbling across that act who doesn't have any team in place to get people to a gig it's not going to happen.
Well, I mean, I definitely agree with that, but I think we all. Sorry.
That just stopped working.
I think this one.
Yeah, we'll just keep track of them and follow up, and maybe the next year it makes sense. So it's not a no, never, it's not happening. Yeah,
Right.
it could be the next year.
I think you have to remember when you're playing a festival, we're offering, North by Northeast, we're offering you at least one 40-minute live slot to play, so you have to have at least that amount of original music you can play. So if we're listening to a 3-track demo that all sounds great, but I mean, you wonder, okay, what else do you have? Or the first song's great, but the other 2 songs are not quite as good. We'll definitely dig around, we'll look for any kind of YouTube videos, or we'll try and get a sense of, is this just a basement project? Are they really ready to come and play the festival? Because like you said, it works both ways. We don't want to showcase you unless you're ready, and you're not going to get anything out of the festival unless you have a few more things in place as well, and you're ready to take advantage of that slot. So it's important to have that dialogue, and like Lizzie said, sometimes we'll keep track of bands and say, sorry, not quite ready, but keep applying, and we have in our database, bands that we've tracked for many years, and they kind of keep moving up through the rating level, and finally they do get a chance to score, and we say it's worth the investment now, so it's important to do it. It's a two-way relationship.
Hi, my name is Dwayne Gallagher. I'm a solo artist.
Sorry, I can't see what that is. Oh yeah, great, sorry.
And aside from really good production, what would be the ultimate, this was a whole hand by the way, what would be the ultimate press package to receive for someone applying to the festival?
Ted?
What's the answer then?
3 months? Besides tickets to the Bahamas.
I think we just keep it pretty simple, really. 1 page, image, links to live and recorded stuff if you've got it.
Yeah.
And brief description with some press quotes, really.
I'm always a bit suspicious actually. It's a really super slick package. In some ways, some of the best music is buried in a crappy presentation. I mean, you have to reach a certain standard, but if it's absolutely amazing, I may wonder, who's doing this, and just check a little bit further in. But it's not guaranteed. In the end, it comes down to all of the assets make sense. Does it all kind of fit? Is this band authentic, and are they doing what they say they're doing? Often they're quoted in the press if they played North by Northeast, and they really haven't. So one thing you shouldn't do is not say that you played festivals that you haven't played, because
So just to Lizzie and Robert and Matt, you all use sonic bits for applications, right? So do you think that's an equalizer in terms of how music, it's basically all in the same format?
Yeah, it's somewhat of an equalizer, but at the same time, that's not the only thing I'm looking at. I'm clicking other links from there. So I'm going to your Facebook page, your SoundCloud, all of that stuff. So the more, if you're using Sonic Bids, the more info you put on there, the better. Because I don't want to just stay on your Sonic Bids account.
Right, you don't want to, dig around looking for.
Well, that's not where the fans are either. So it's not really a true representation of who you are.
I think, most people they look to live shows at YouTube as well. So for me, it's pretty much the same as you. Keep it simple, like just say how many band members are involved. I always like to hear the future plans in terms of releases, or the shows you've done in your home country. That's pretty much it. And we use Sonic Bits as well. I think there's loads of information on Sonic Bits, but we're also looking to Facebook or YouTube or whatever. Ask people from your country how the live performance of the band is. So there's so many channels to find out if a band is good on stage or not.
Okay. Here?
Hi, I'm Kevin. I'm manager of a band called the Fibs. If you're going to book a band that has to travel to a festival abroad, is it financed by the festival, or do the band finance flights, accommodation, all that sort of stuff? How does it actually work?
Did you miss the start?
So.
Music from Ireland are funded through Culture Ireland and Imro. Culture Ireland predominantly, and then Imro as well, and they contribute towards the band's flights, and then at the gigs we provide the funding. Through them we hire the backline and basically keep the story going. But also most importantly, we make sure everybody knows who else is going, so we get the fans to meet beforehand and see if you can share other expenses.
Hi, my name is Steve Wall from a band called The Walls. I suppose we'd be sort of regarded as an established band here, even though it's all self-funded like most bands. We're at a stage where we'd love to play around Europe specifically. So something like Eurosonic would be really important to us to do. We're not represented by any big management company. We don't have an international booking agent or anything like that. It's ourselves. So what I'm wondering is, for something like Eurosonic, if you're represented by a well-known booking agent, is that an advantage? Is it something that Eurosonic look at as being more attractive?
Well, it certainly helps when you have an agent already, but we booked many bands in the past without an agent, and that the agent saw, or a particular agent, see this band at Eurosonic and decide to take on this band. So it's not necessary to have an agent, of course, but it always helps. But for us, it's like the whole package is important. So you don't have to be involved from some kind of big management or a big agency. It's really not necessary. But at least it helps that there is something going on in Europe. Is there a certain demand? Whether is there a buzz on the blog, or how's it in terms of weblogs? Maybe there's a review somewhere in Spain or Italy. It doesn't matter where it is, but you have to tell. We have to explain to people as well why we book bands, and that's why we are very strict to take on bands. So you need to be something. There needs to be something going on in Europe. That's actually the point.
There has to be something going on in Europe.
Yes.
In order to qualify for Eurosonic.
Yes, of course. Right. Yeah. I think it makes
sense. For Irish bands, that's always been the biggest obstacle. In fact, we're on an island, so like we've gone to South by Southwest twice before, and it's without the support of Music from Ireland and Imrock, we wouldn't be able to do it. And even then, you still have to borrow money on top of that, because Europe is so close to us and we don't need a visa. It's very important for Irish bands, but there still is that whole thing of being on an island. There still is the expense of getting over there, and so I think a lot of Irish bands would be, like ourselves, who have applied for Eurosonic, are hoping to maybe to get a booking agent out of that and to create those links, because a lot of Irish acts wouldn't have much of a profile in Europe already.
Yes, I know. Yes, it's true, but it happens since the existence of Eurosonic, so we have to deal with this every year. But we rather prefer bands with a story, so that there is people at Eurosonic. It's not a regular festival, so most people who attend Eurosonic are involved with a big festival, or a mid-sized festival, or a small festival, or there's so many club promoters buying tenants discovering new music, but also agents, and also labels, and also journalists. So for us it's important to know that if you do showcase at Eurosonic, that you play at least in front of people. And we had some unfortunately bad examples for bands who were playing Eurosonic and playing hardly before an audience. There were like 10 or maybe 15 people in front of the stage. And it happens not that often, but if it happens, it's really, really over with your career. At least if there is somebody in the room who likes the music, then it's another story, of course. But I think you need a good setup and to be ready to play Eurosonic. It definitely helps that there is something going on in Europe already.
Okay. Down the very back. Right there, and then Matt.
Hi, my name is Carrie, ready to travel by the way. I would like to know if, considering I'm sure you get loads and loads of applicants for your festivals, Have you ever found yourselves compelled to send somebody an email saying you're nearly there and hopefully this piece of advice will be helpful to you? If you have done that, what have you said? What advice have you given if you ever have?
For us, there's always a pool of artists that kind of fall in that category. It's hard to really go case by case and let them know, this piece is missing. But it's more a way of saying, we like what we hear. You're not there yet, but don't give up, sort of thing.
If a band asks us specifically for feedback, we will give it, but we don't do it unsolicited. It's just too many bands. But if you did ask us specifically, we'll go back and send you some of the notes.
We have a panel of 35 judges who judge Hardware Class Heroes, and we ask all of them to give feedback. Some of the panelists here are on our judging panel each year, and that's available. Your marks out of 10 in the 4 categories, and if the judge said something about you, then we don't tell you who the judge is because we want them to keep doing it. But we will give you their feedback.
Oh, brilliant. Thanks.
Madeline?
Hi, for those of you who didn't get that earlier on, I'm Madeline from Culture Ireland. Just to say that our partnership with Angela and First Music Contact with hard-working class heroes in having the panel here today and other presenters, that's one part. The second part is obviously supporting you guys to get to those showcases, which we're very happy to do. But the third part, which I think is relevant, is that hopefully if you get to the showcases and you get bookings out of it, which is what everybody wants, is that Culture Ireland is there also to support that. So if you do get bookings to tour, be it in Europe or the States or wherever, that we still want to support you. So don't think that this is the end of the story, that hopefully if something does come out of your showcasing at any of these events, that we're here to help support you to do that tour. And that comes in terms of grants for flights and accommodation. Ideally, if you have a number of gigs as opposed to just one, but it's part of an ongoing relationship that we would like to have with you as artists. So remember that, please God, when you come back from the showcasing, that we're still there to work with you. That's all, just a point of information.
Did nobody bring Madeline flowers? Seriously. Offering you all free money. I suppose in the context, Madeline, of that element, kind of the post-Music from Ireland element, when the bands have gone to the showcases, I think that's a really good incentive, especially for the European. Eurosonic introduced a Eurosonic Biz. Would you mind just briefly telling us about what that is and how it works? Because actually what Culture Ireland do is the festivals who go to Eurosonic, if they pick an Irish band for their lineup, can then apply to Culture Ireland to make sure they can afford the band to come to their event.
Yes. We have a counting system at Eurosonic called ETAP. That's the European Talent Exchange Program. So not all, that's not true, but many festivals in Europe are connected to the ETAP, and actually we count all the bookings based on the Eurosonic showcase. So at the end of the year we can see which acts are successful or very successful or unsuccessful or not successful at all. So, but if a festival books a band based on a Eurosonic show, they get a certain amount of money. I'm not sure how much money it is. It's 500 euros, yes. So that money goes actually to the festival in order to pay the fee of the band. And so it helps to, our main goal actually is to stimulate the circulation of European music. So you can imagine that it really helps because not every country has an export office, for example. So, and there's also music coming from Poland and Greece and all kinds of territories in Europe where,
They don't have a mandolin.
where there is no mandolin. So.
Do you have to take advantage of that when you go to, you go shopping at Eurosonic? I imagine for the great estate. Have you taken advantage of that system?
I think we're part of it.
Yes.
That's, yeah. I guess I don't work for that. That's how the business. But I believe so.
Cool. Can we get another question? Do not be shy. That is the truth.
Yeah, I think we've got 5 bands last year on the back of your Sonic.
It's me again, sorry. Visas, really, America is something I just... Do you guys help with the visa situation? Because costing it up, it is such an expense. I know that there's help with other things, but does that come into it, or is there a waiver scheme at all?
We don't really help with the costs of visas, but if you need a sponsor, we'll certainly be your sponsor. If you're having problems getting a process, we'll try and step in and push things forward. But we're not super involved.
Okay. I know Matt, CMJ does a letter, don't you, to each of your invited acts?
Yeah, I mean, that's for the visa application, provide a letter. Beyond that, we don't have a whole lot of juice with the immigration office, unfortunately.
We have found Music for Ireland's been doing Southwest for 7 years and CMJ for 6. And we found that the advice we would give bands, especially bands going to Southwest, it's always better to have a story out there and a label, and I think that's when you do best at Southwest, when you already have an American story going, isn't it really? It's better it's an easier way to cash in, and I think if you have a story and a team beginning to work in America, that's easier because they take the role of a kind of a sponsor. I think if you're going to one of these events, you should be applying for 12 months because, as Madeline says, if you're getting to South by Southwest, you should be confident enough that other shows will follow, and that if you're applying for those, they are expensive, but they work out actually to be very good value if you can get them for 12 months. And it also shows that you're confident that you're going to do well out of the showcase. I'm part of a global network of people who do what we do in terms of like bringing international shows, our bands to these shows, and we are looking at getting to the next level in terms of showcases, because when bands are going to South by Southwest or coming from America to like the Great Escape or going to North by Northeast is a little easier, I think. Canada's a little easier than North America. They're not making money, and what we're lobbying for is an in-between visa and thankfully, I don't know if it's because everyone in America loves the Irish, in 8 years of shows we've been fine, especially with CMJ, because it's college music, because they know nobody's getting paid for the shows. You do a wristband thing or you do backband, so they tend to look favourably. But if you are going the visa route, do it early and do it for a longer duration than just that showcase.
Thanks.
One question?
Hi, I'm Darren from Last Days in 1984. I just wanted to know, would a band having a release on an independent label here have any kind of negative effect on them being picked for one of the festivals?
Have a negative?
Yeah, like if they were signed here, do you think it's a bad thing or?
No.
No.
I can speak for everyone.
That's cool.
Great. Thank you. Here, just at the end of your room.
Chris Mack, Old Pocket Noise. I'm just wondering, in terms of the South by Southwest and the CMJ, in terms of press, does it matter more? Would European press be enough to be considered for the two festivals, or would you prefer to have American press reviews or anything?
You don't have to have any press. Yeah, I mean, it's good if you do, just because we know people are watching, but now there's so many bloggers and,
But I would consider that press.
Yeah,
online media.
But most people are going to have press. If you're out playing shows, you're going to have something. Where it's coming from, it doesn't really matter.
I have seen people quote a MySpace commenter. That's not press.
You can just hand it over there.
Hi, I'm Brian Barnes, I manage Digital Wolves. If there was, this is all of the panel, if there was one thing, once you get onto one of these festivals, if there was one tip you could suggest to a band in preparation for attending it, in terms of, aside from the performance and the music, if there was one thing you could recommend to a band to prepare in advance?
I think whether or not you have management or a team around you, if you can get someone around the event, sort of locally, to do some press and drum up some interest. When we go and see bands, a lot of the time we ask each other who we're going to see that day, and if you can be that band that one of us says we're going to see, likely there's other people will go with us. So yeah, I think just drumming up a bit of interest down there beforehand. Go on the websites, look through the delegates, pinpoint who you want at your showcase and who you'd like to work with, and contact them individually.
It's also helpful if you're coming over for South by Southwest if you have other dates outside of South by Southwest. So if you have a little tour around the state, or you come in and you play New York, a lot of times you can get press at those shows that will help you when you get to Austin.
Would it be advantageous to release in a territory before you go to it, or does that make a difference?
I think, well, you hopefully pick up some more press off it, and there'll be a bit of a story and a buzz going on at the time, so you can piggyback the press for your release with the show and for the show with the release. But I don't think it's key.
Hi, I'm Michael from Gods and Astronaut. I just have a general question about backlines actually. A lot of festivals, smaller bands would have shared backlines, whereas larger bands would have their own backlines. But I know a lot of bands these days, a lot of smaller bands are very kind of reliant on tech, as in reliant on their own backlines. So for bands, would they have to bring their own backlines to these festivals, or would they be using a shared backline?
It depends. So some of our venues we book a backline in. We normally do that when the venue's quite small and we don't think there's going to be enough room to store 4 bands backline. We have 15 to 20 minute changeovers between each act, and then a half-hour one between the final act. So there is time for one change, but we don't provide it for everyone, and we don't. But we can help facilitate sharing with the other bands on the bill. It's best not for everyone to bring their own backline because there's not enough time in room.
North by Northeast provides backline for all the bands playing the festival. I get sponsorship from Yamaha, so there's a brand new Yamaha kit if you're a drummer. We would provide specific amps that you want Marshall, Fender, or Vox or whatever. And our stage manager will be in touch with you to get a stage plot, and we do our best to try and provide you as much gear as is required, so you're showing up with the basic, especially if you're coming from far away. So we do that in Canada because we're nice.
Eurosonic is pretty much the same. We try to make sure that the sound is good and that the backline needed is offered. So it's all about that 40 or 45 minutes in Eurosonic. So from our side, we try to offer the best. And so, but backline is everything on stage, of course. But if you bring your own front of house table, then it's the next step, of course. That's really difficult. But we always try to negotiate with the bands, like, okay, how are we going to solve this problem, if it's a problem.
At South by Southwest, we have a lot of presenters, whether it's labels or booking agencies. Sometimes they will pay for backline. Bands share costs to share backline if they're running it. They share each other's equipment. There's a bunch of different ways you can do it. And a lot of times with DJs, we do have equipment that we can move from venue to venue pretty quickly with volunteers that we have.
At CMJ and Music from Ireland, or at CMJ and South West, for the official Music from Ireland show at South by Southwest, we hire Music from Ireland tours the venue, the back line, and that will be based on the specs that the collective bands have sent in to us. We'll get the master list, we'll send it out to you if anything's missing, we add it. For a day show, the full Irish breakfast, we do the same, and at CMJ we do the same. So we hire the modes that will be used right across the bands that are playing the showcase. You have another question? Okay, do you mind if I share this news with everybody? God is an Astronaut has been confirmed as the first Irish band playing at Eurosonic 2012. Keep a very close eye on their backline, I'm guessing.
Yes.
Do we have any other questions? Really? There's no other question? Is there a question you'd like someone else to ask for you? Yeah, down the very back.
Hi, my name is Rebecca. I manage the Gorgeous Colours. They're playing tonight in the Button Factory, and I'm just wondering, Angela, I'm sure you communicate with all the panellists on quite a frequent basis, but how much do you communicate with each other? Like, I know you probably monitor each other's festivals, but are you in touch a lot?
No. I mean, we see each other socially at these kinds of events, but and we'll email if it's necessary.
I think if an event falls on the same weekend or the weekend either side of your festival,
then communication's key. But that's more so that you can help put together a routine and just chat about dates, who's going to play where and what date. Yeah, I think that's all.
Usually Matt and I's most important conversation is how close our events are to each other, so he can come here and I can go to CMJ. That's about the extent for any other questions? Can I ask if you have a couple of minutes? People don't know, I don't have a question, then there's a line long for questions. So do you have about another 10 minutes to hang about, and if anybody wants to talk to them, I hope some genius brought a big brown envelope full of cash, depending how badly you want to run on any one of these festivals. I will say one thing about the 5 people on this panel. They have exhaustively been going to all of the gigs this weekend. It's a huge deal to have you here. It's with our other hand, Music from Ireland, I see all of you at least once a year, but it is great to have you come here and see, and all of your reaction to music this weekend has cheered me up no end, because we spend our time going out telling everybody how amazing Irish music is, and they're like great. The idea that these people got to see closer to 100 than 5 Irish bands this weekend is just amazing. Madeline, a sainthood is on its way to you for allowing that to happen, but for all of you to give us this weekend out of your very busy schedules. Thank you so much to Lizzie, Andy, to Tash, to Robert, and to Matt.